Several weeks ago, I did a video on sweet and sour chicken, and I actually cut up chicken thighs to about the size of chicken wings. And it was my most popular video for like 10 days, 2 weeks, and then it declined into obscurity like all my videos do. But a friend told me, you got to do sweet and sour pork ribs, the little ones that are like an inch long. These are all cut ribs, and I found these at Costco. So that's what I want to do today. I did some research. Let's do some sweet and sour pork ribs. First, I have to section these pieces of ribs. They're all in one large piece, but they're cut across the ribs. So I have to cut between the bones to section these into individual pieces for cooking, like that. I have here roughly 2 pounds or 1 kilogram of pork ribs. I'm bringing water up to the boil in my wok because the original directions say to blanch the ribs in boiling water for 3 to 4 minutes. While the meat is cooking, skim any scum that floats to the surface. And I don't know why the directions say to clear this liquid. It gets discarded, but you could use this liquid in a later step. You'll see, because it's going to have flavor in it from cooking the pork. All of my ribs are blanched now. The original directions say to strain this through a colander, but I'm just taking the blanched meat out and placing it in a bowl. I've wiped out my wok and I'm heating it over high heat and adding 1 tablespoon of frying oil and swishing that around. I'm actually using peanut oil because it has a high smoke point. I need to brown this meat. So when that oil comes up to temperature, it should just barely begin to smoke. Start adding the meat a few pieces at a time. Don't overcrowd the pan. There's a lot of splatter here, so I used a splatter screen to help keep my counter clean. You want to stir and turn this meat over periodically so that it browns evenly on all sides. I'm ready to start braising the ribs. I wiped out the pan to remove excess oil. I'm adding 1 tablespoon of rice wine, 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of sugar, and 4 tablespoons of rice vinegar. And then I'm going to return the browned meat to the pan and then add enough water to barely cover the meat. And this is where you could have used that blanching liquid. Just save that and pour it back into the pan. As I said, it's going to have some flavor in it. You need to add 2 to 3 pieces of star anise if you can find it. I couldn't, so I'm adding a few drops of anise extract. And then once again, start skimming any scum that floats to the top. Reduce the heat to low and then cover the wok. You want to reduce this liquid to about 1/3 of its original volume. That's going to take 35 to 40 minutes. You can see how much that liquid has reduced in 35 to 40 minutes. Bring the heat up to high and then stirring constantly. Thicken this sauce to where it's almost a syrup. I'm trying to improve my plating skills, so I'm using something called a disher. It's like a small ice cream scoop, and I'm using that to put 3 mounds of rice on the plate. And then I'm going to spoon some of my cooked ribs onto this plate, and then finally add a little bit of sauce on top and to the rice, because this sauce is actually pretty good. Garnish with sesame seeds. I don't know how to eat this. I mean, do you lift it bone and all with a chopstick? Then what do you do with the bone? Do you take it out of your mouth with the chopstick? Fall off the bone tender. And boy, is that delicious. I can handle chopsticks, but not very well. Some of my rice. I love rice. All right. It's 4:45. I'm going to go have my dinner of sweet and sour pork ribs.